Greetings, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and viewers at home. We're at Golden Speakers Toastmasters. We meet every Tuesday evening, 7:45 to 9 p.m. We are very happy that we have a special group here tonight, class visiting from the university, and a friend that we get to see every year, Professor Jane Schmidt-Wilk. We'd like to, Jane, we know why everyone is here from your class because you require them to be here. Is that right? Okay, so we'll get that right out on the table. Students, why don't you just go ahead and stand and just give your name and where you're from. Okay, just so we can get that. And I can't clap, which is sort of this. And so this wonderful club got me this, which is a clapping. And actually my wrist is not really happy doing this either. So I'm just gonna go like this, and that means clap. Okay, so here we go. But let's go ahead and we'll let you announce and then we'll clap it after everybody, okay?
My name is Ben Farron and I'm from Dollar Bay, Michigan.
I am Elliot Onash and I'm from Big Bear, California.
Really?
I'm Kristen Smith, and I'm from a little bit of everywhere. I'm currently residing in Oskaloosa, so.
Okay. All right, well, thank you very much for that. We have a special meeting. Do I have an agenda? Could someone pass me the agenda up here? Great. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to mention for our guests, what you're going to notice is a lot of clapping, and so just be ready. Okay, so we'll cue you, because it'll make you feel good, and it also helps anyone who's up here to feel good too. And we are really big about feeling good and building support and confidence. I am also the Toastmaster. Okay, so we have about 4 people out of town right now for various reasons. So we're wearing duplicate hats or double hats. So I'm taking off my president hat and I'm putting on my Toastmaster hat. And as Toastmaster, I'd like to have our role players for the evening tell us what they're going to be doing. And I'm going to start with our timer. Everything in Toastmasters gets timed because it's not just what you say, it's can you say it within the time you're given. And this is Carmen Antacona.
So I'm gonna keep on timing. We are having today table topics, a prepared speech, and evaluations. For table topics, we're gonna have 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute will be green light, 1 minute 30 seconds yellow, and 2 minutes red. And we have 30 seconds to wrap up. For prepared speech, 3 to 5?
3 to 5.
3 to 5. 3 minutes green. 4 yellow. 5 red. 30 seconds to wrap up. And for evaluations, 2 to 3?
2 to 3.
Okay. 2 green. 2.5 yellow. 3 red. And 30 seconds to wrap up. And I will be doing my report at the end of the meeting.
Thank you, Carmen. Our next role player is our grammarian, and that's going to be Dee Stauffer.
Word of the day. So I look for tongue clicks, ahs.
Nope, that's our counter.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know you changed roles.
Sorry.
Thank you for that. That's good.
So I am the
Grammarian.
grammarian, right? So I listen to language used, make notes of exceptionally good or bad language, English or some other language that people use, of course. Give a brief report at the end of the meeting and listen for the word of the day. Now I grew up playing golf, so I had to use this word, callow. I don't know if you watched the Masters yesterday, it's pretty incredible. Tiger Woods won his 5th green jacket. If you win one, that's amazing. At the Masters over the other golfers of a callow nature.
Okay.
It's a little stretched on
Okay.
the grammar, but I had to put that in there.
All right, well, great, well, thank you.
Can you read the,
And
you didn't read the definition?
Less experienced.
just less, okay, less
less
experience. And the goal here is if you come up here, we're always trying to build vocabulary, and so you get a point in the form of D, marking a little slash next to your name when you use the word of the day. Okay. Thank you, Dee, for that. Our odd counter is going to be Ron Kerr. Ron, would you please tell us about your role?
The role of the odd counter is to listen to and make note of the use of what we call filler words. Sometimes when we're speaking, we don't know what to say next, and we start, so you know what I mean? We start doing all these crazy things. No. So we will keep track of this, and we'll give a report at the end of the meeting.
So the goal here is not to have filler words, just in case anyone is confused, like you want to make a big total. No, you want to be 0 is the direction to go, you know, so, but, well, feel me, any of that thing that you use to fill in, so, because you're uncomfortable with pauses. Great. Our general evaluator, we'll hear from him later, will be Dan Craig. And our greeter joke master is also me. And I did greet just about everybody. I think I was the main greeter.
Great
That's an
greeter.
awesome job
Great
down
greeter.
there, greeter. We're still getting used to this space, so just something new to discover every meeting. Now, we have a special treat tonight. We are going to be listening to one of our members, Aaron Russell, who several weeks ago won the division championship in the category called Tall Tales. It's an imaginative, it's sort of exaggerating something, that it's a competition speech. It has to be 3 to 5 minutes. He won at the club level, he won at the area level, he won at the division level, and now he's only got one more level to go. That is the district level. That's like the entire state of Iowa plus a little bit of Illinois and Nebraska. And that is on Friday the 26th. So that's, 9 days away. And we want to give him some practice.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought you guys might really like it. So, Aaron is a relatively new member to our club, but he transferred from a club up in Davenport. It was actually a corporate club, John Deere. Anyone's heard of John Deere? So John Deere has a corporate club. Aaron still works for John Deere, is all there, but unfortunately the Ottumwa John Deere is not quite up to Davenport, so he's become a member here. We're really pleased with that. He's not just a newbie, but look at him. He can't be too old because, look at him. But we're very excited that he's going to be competing and practicing some tonight. So you'll have all gotten one of these. Did you guys get one of these? Yeah. So Aaron would really appreciate it if you give him honest feedback on those sheets. And you can mark your name on it. Just hand it to him at the end of the meeting, because then he goes home and with his milk and cookies, he gets to read all the comments. Right?
I don't know about the milk and
You
cookies.
don't do milk and cookies at night? Oh
I'm
my
not that
goodness.
young.
Oh
Good
my
Lord.
goodness. Milk and cookies are ageless.
Beer and barbecue.
We always have an evaluator for our speakers because we want to know what things we did right according to sort of standards, and then also have suggestions of what we might have done differently to better meet a standard. Our evaluator tonight is going to be Veda Royale. He doesn't have a manual set, he doesn't have specific speech criteria, which is normally what we have because we're always moving in steps, and each project has its own objectives. But tonight we're going to be having Veda evaluate as a general evaluation. So he's looking overall to make comments on Aaron's content, organization structure, also his delivery, gestures, eye contact, vocal variety, what did he do, staging. So that'll be good. That'll be good for Aaron. Have I said enough, Aaron? Or wait, you gave me something here. Okay. Yes, here we
You
go.
highlighted a lot of
Did
it.
I do a bunch of it? Okay. So he's been a Toastmaster just under a year. He is a paint engineer at John Deere in Atoma Works. In Atoma Works?
Yeah, that's the factory.
Okay. And he resides in Fairfield with his wife, dog, and a baby on the way. Yeah. You know, so when he's practicing, you know, he's got his wife and, you know, somebody else.
I'm rehearsing for two, is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. All right. Without further ado, please help me warmly welcome Aaron Russell, Frogzilla. Frogzilla, Aaron Russell.
There's not much that scares me. I've done plenty of things that would make most of you guys tremble in fear. Well, I've drunk milk the day after its expiration date. I've taken math and physics for fun. And I've even gone shopping at Walmart on Black Friday. Oh yeah. But all of that pales in comparison with the story I'm going to tell you tonight. For you see, fellow guests and fellow Toastmasters, I'm going to relay to you the story of when I overcame one of the vicious, most spine-tinglingly terrifying creatures that I've ever encountered. It was a day that began just like any other in a teenage boy's life. I woke up at the crack of noon, walked over to the window well of my basement bedroom to greet the sun's bright, shining rays. But what greeted me instead was something so hideous and so terrifying that its image will be forever burned into my retinas. An American bullfrog. Now, at this point, I should probably clarify that I have an irrational fear of frogs and toads, but make no mistake, for this was no run-of-the-mill amphibian. Oh no, this beast was large enough to consume most humans in a single gulp. And it had these eyes, these intense, dead eyes, that I questioned whether or not it was even alive. But that theory was quickly proven false when the beast lashed out with a tongue that could outstretch a school bus. The only thing saving me from a certain slimy doom was my window that the beast had obviously failed to notice. Well, at that point, I ran myself upstairs as fast as my legs could carry me. Dad, there's a giant frog inside of my window well. Well, my father passed it off as just a trick of the light. But his jaw hit the floor when he saw that demon spawn perched to strike outside of my bedroom window. And we began to question what sort of toxic waste dump, what sort of mad scientist experiment could have produced this mutant monstrosity. But there was one thing that we both knew for certain, and that is that we had to do something about it. Well, my father, bless his soul, decided that he would be the person brave enough to capture this beast. And while I couldn't bear to watch what I'm sure was a very violent and extremely bloody struggle, my father managed to produce the frog encased inside of a coffee. Folgers dark roast, to be exact. Well, at that point, my father got in the driver's seat, and I in the passenger seat with the frog, inside of his caffeinated prison, safely placed at my feet. Or so I thought it was safe. For as we began to near the pond, all of a sudden, boom! The coffee tin flew up into the air as the frog tried desperately to escape, and came slamming back down before once again, boom! This time slamming so hard against the roof that the word Bulgers is still imprinted on it today. And came slamming back down once again, and one final boom! The lid flew off, shattering our sunroof, and there stood the frog. Legs reared, perched to strike at but a moment's notice. But I was the quicker animal. For at that point, I scooped up the frog before he could jump out, jumped out of the car, kicked it open, and threw him towards the pond, saying, "Sayonara, son of Satan!" And before I knew what I was doing, I kicked open the car door again, jumped back inside, looked for my dad, and said, "Drive, drive, drive, you fool!" My dad kicked it into reverse, threw us back onto the highway, kicked it in drive, and we sped off back towards the house. But before we got too far, I made one final look back, and there stood, in an image I will never forget for as long as I shall live, the frog, with those dead, intense yet blank eyes, the eyes of a beast that I will ever remember as Frogzilla.
Those of us that have seen him do this several times now,
It gets-
did you see how it's evolving?
Yeah, it's evolving. It gets better and
It's
better.
definitely evolving. Wow. Okay. So please take, Madam Timer, if you would give us 2 minutes. And this is where we can jot down some evaluation points for Aaron. Okay. All right. Now, Madam Timer, did our speaker qualify? Okay, very good. Since he is our only speaker tonight, we know who's going to be our best speaker, but it's very important to actually come in on time. And we especially don't want you to be disqualified at the districts. So very good,
Yeah,
extra practice. All right, and there you're going to be ready? All right, with that, I'm going to call up our general evaluator, Dan Craig.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, now it's my pleasure to introduce Veda Royale, who will give us his evaluation of Aaron's speech. Please welcome Veda.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Aaron, outstanding job. I can tell, since this is the 4th time that I've witnessed this speech, that you are not callow. It reminds me of speeches that I did when I was young. If you work on a speech, if you use your intelligence, going through so many iterations, and also you've listened to the evaluations of others and you've incorporated those, the speech just gets better and better. This is a winning speech. In fact, every time you gave it, it was winning, but at the level at which you gave it, which is very unusual, to be winning at one level and to continue to move up the ladder so the speech is better and better. I don't know if I've seen that before. So that's a huge congratulations to you. Your posture, your gestures, your staging, your jumping, all added to the effect. Your amusing good humor, your deadpan expressions, which you've now fine-tuned, bring us this surprise range. I'm going to be fairly brief with this because there's not a lot for me to work with without anything but the general knowledge of tall tales. So I'm just going to try to give you some suggestions on the speech itself. First of all, vocal variety. If you start out quieter, it'd be good because it doesn't leave you any place to go. Gives you a little bit of illusion that you're doing. But you did use your range and your pitch really well throughout the speech. So it's not a huge problem, just the very beginning. The other thing is when you come up, especially in a formal setting, you should be especially careful to address Mr. or Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, or whatever the appropriate expression is at the contest level. And at the end, it gives you a chance to say, Madam Toastmaster. Or a lot of people use incorrectly the word thank you. You didn't do that. That's great, but if someone used thank you, you can save it by saying, thank you, Madam Toastmaster. The only other thing was to watch the tape and work through. There was a lot of kicking, and I think some of it was out of order. But other than that, it was really great. The word kicking. Thank you, Aaron. Mr. General Craig.
Thank you, Veda. Now, at this point, I'm going to invite the Toastmaster back, Jean Symington Craig.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Now we're going to head into another muscle group. I call these muscle groups. So Aaron has just demonstrated prepared speech muscle group. So he's had time to work on it, he's been refining it, he has control in that way. That's a very important muscle. Another muscle is impromptu speaking. Someone asks you a question, how do you deal with that? How do you walk and talk at the same time? Can you create an opening, a body, and conclusion in the 30 seconds that we allow, which is typical for life? If someone throws you a rather complicated question, you're allowed to think up to 30 seconds, otherwise it starts to look like maybe you've zoned out. So we don't want to go too long, but up to 30 seconds, and then give a cogent, not a callow answer that really makes you look articulate and makes your message effective. So with that, we have our table topics master for the evening who's going to be conducting this portion of the meeting. And I'm going to go ahead and welcome up Jyoti Raj.
Fellow Toastmasters, honorable guests, and viewers at home. This is table topic. The table topic is where we give impromptu speaking. I put some questions or give some topic. The table topic master will put some question or give a topic. And a speaker has 2 minutes, think at the spot, and talk for 2 minutes, and 30 seconds more to wrap up. Is that correct?
Could you just review the timing again, since guests are invited to participate on this? So just.
So yeah, it's 2 minute speech. She will turn yellow at green at 1 minute, and yellow at 1.5, and red at 2 minutes. And you'll have 30 seconds to wrap it up. So you can speak 2.5 minutes maximum. And if you go beyond that time, you'll be disqualified for the award. So guests can also participate. Who would like to come first? I have 8 questions. You can choose any from them. I encourage a member to come first, and then I'll ask for a guest.
I'll go. I know, go ahead.
Oh, wait, just,
No, please raise your hand.
I'll go.
Like a man. Okay, I have 8 questions, 1 to 8.
How about 7? That's a lucky number.
Okay, 7. If God asks you to tell him, what do you want him or her to do with this world? What would be your suggestion to him or her?
I would tell God to take care of all the people around the world who do not have the kinds of luxuries that we have here. Often we take things for granted, all the luxuries and the things that we have, we can buy. You can go somewhere and you can buy anything you want. You can buy a computer. And I think it's something like 60 or 70% of people in the world don't have food to eat. And there's things that can be done. I would tell him to talk to all the people, the 1%, for example, who have their yachts. I mean, how many yachts do you need anyway? 1, 2, 3, 4? And they have their own private plane. I would tell him to talk to these people and start up some kind of organization. There are these boat people that are going from the Mediterranean over to southern Europe, and these boats fall in the water and people drown. Why not give them a bunch of life rafts or life preservers on these boats and food? And I would have, when they land on the other side, I would have God provide places for these people to sleep and have, comfort. I would tell God to teach all these people to have some sort of, the rich people, to have some sort of program where they go within and experience their own inner self. Maybe even have all the people in the world learn to do some sort of meditation practice. Because the value of that is, you can't put money on that, the value of the things of that nature. Good.
Guest. Come on up.
Go ahead.
Your name?
Elliot.
1, 2, 8, 7 was taken already.
3.
3. Good. If Hollywood wants to buy a story from you, what would be your story about?
One more time.
The Hollywood movie
Mm-hmm.
want to buy a story from you.
Mm-hmm.
They want a story from you. What would it be about?
Okay. So if Hollywood were to buy a story from me, it would be my own life story, actually. So I grew up in Big Bear, California, and then I went and worked for Penske Truck Leasing for a pretty long time, 6 years. And then I got sick of it and decided to quit and move to Vegas and became a professional poker player. And I did that for 2 years. And I would do a story specifically on just those 2 years being in Vegas, being a young kid trying to make it in the world, and coming from the corporate structure, going into something completely new and different, and just kind of taking the risk and kind of feeling my way through what it was like to come from a small town and to go into a big, huge city, the land of sin, and to kind of learn to navigate through that entire thing. It was a great experience, and there's a lot of stories that are relatable because I'm just a kid, I'm just a normal person that everyone can kind of relate with. So I think that story would be the best one. So I can go ahead and come from a very sincere place. It's all factual. I can tell like all the cool little ins and outs of Vegas because I was a local for a few years. So that'd be the story I would tell. Thank you.
Next participant who will come. Please raise your hand.
Don't be shy.
You want to come? So anybody will time her? We need a timer.
Here, go ahead, Jean.
Kristen wants to try the time.
You want if you want, or.
Well, we come up, you gotta show her the timer speed.
Okay.
You gotta run the lights.
Oh, okay. You watch.
Okay, yes, we gotta.
Try to watch it.
So, thank you, very nice. So, you know, you're gonna hit it to start, and when it gets to 1.
Okay, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8.
6.
6. If you are told you will not be paid in cash, but you will be provided everything you need, will you accept that job?
Fellow Toastmasters, honorable guests, and viewers at home, of course, I will cut that one. I don't have to work. I don't have to wake up early. I don't have to skip nights without sleeping because I'm worried about how much money I'm making the next day.
Now let me clarify the question. You need to work, but you will not be given any paycheck.
Oh, I see.
They will give you whatever you want, your food, clothes.
Yeah, okay. So,
Okay,
anyway, if they get...
Stop. Start over. Okay, yeah? Okay, do over. There we go.
Mulligan.
Okay, mulligan, yes.
Okay. And then of course, if there is no paycheck, there is no money, right? If there is no money, there is nothing to worry about it for me. So at the same time, if there is nothing to worry about, I will be pretty happy. It's something that I always wanted to do anyways. That would be really nice to do in this world because money is not, well, it's evil sometimes, right? Most of the time it's evil. If you have too much money, there is a lot of problems. If you have no money, there is a lot of problems too. So there is no win-win. But at the same time, if for some reason there is a person that comes with an idea to have money, paper like that, and they put it as something that is not valuable, all the other persons are going to see, oh, okay, this is kind of valuable, so I'm going to get it. So I will be actually kind of, just take out those ideas from the brain of the war, and then just put it into something else. So I think that's it.
Do you still have time for more?
Toastmaster says yes.
Okay, so we'll be next. Please raise your hand. Otherwise, I'll pick you up.
Yeah, you get voluntold. You want
Could I?
I just want to see if one of the
Yeah,
students
guests, any
Yeah,
guests,
whenever-
please raise your hand,
yeah.
otherwise I'll pick up.
Yeah. Okay, so you can't hide from with the hat. Well, we did have a student, yeah, okay,
Yes, we've
good.
had some, Kristen did a bit of volunteer work already.
Absolutely, absolutely, okay, all right, good.
I get really nervous in front of people.
Yeah, well,
Oh, so we all of us do too.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Teacher.
Yeah. Okay, so we now officially will retract our clause, but we'll go ahead and let you pick. Who died for you? Oh,
Ron, you wanna go?
Yeah.
You? Who first? Who first raise your hand? You? Go.
yeah.
I have this one, but it smells bad.
I know, I know.
I think it's sweet.
Okay, so you have 1, 2, 4, 5, and 8.
1, 2, 4, 5, 8.
4. If you can spend money without a limit in a day, you can spend as much as you like. what would you buy or do with that money? Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters, our honored guests and viewers at home. If I have unlimited money, check, or I won't buy anything, but because I don't need unlimited money to buy everything I want. Since I was a boy, about 6-7 years, my dream was bicycle or something better than bicycle. And then when I was able to afford that, I already graduated from the school, from the university. So bicycle does not work with me. I need a car, and now I'm still there. Then which car you get? Mercedes or Maybach or maybe Rolls Royce or. But even all that, you need $500,000 to get Rolls Royce. You need 3, 4, 5 millions to have a castle in Hawaii or somewhere. And what else you need in this life to have? Health? Will I buy health? Or if I have any disease, or if I lost one of my family members, will I buy someone else? So if I think about that answer, I'll return back to the first point. My dream was a bicycle, and I couldn't afford that until it was not, or it's not my dream now. So I don't have to have all these dreams and just work and collect money to buy them or to have them. Maybe it's better to help someone else to have these small dreams, so I can just buy things to other people, to these small dreams for children, for adults, for families, for communities. Thank you. That's fine.
Time,
We're done?
yeah, we're done.
Okay, so we have come to end of this general topic. We're out of time. I'll call Toastmaster. Oh.
Ask on the timer.
Madam Timer, did everybody qualify or?
Yes,
No.
everybody qualified.
Okay, so let's vote for
Right.
the speakers.
Do you want to explain what we're gonna do? You want to explain it to the students?
Oh yeah, so this you'll take a small piece of paper.
Did you guys get one of
You can
these?
just tear off this small piece of paper, write the name of those table topic speakers, not Aaron, he is
Can you put the names
a
on?
speaker.
Just the tabletop.
They were just the
Yeah.
table topic.
Could you read
Can
the names, Carmen?
you read the name?
Yes.
Yeah.
So our table topics are D, Hudaifa,
Wait, D,
G,
Hudaifa,
Jaifa,
our guest,
Elliot.
Elliot,
and me, Carmen.
Carmen. Okay.
Okay, now let me call Jaifa to evaluate our table topic speaker.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll be evaluating 3, so I think 2 minutes.
2 to 3.
2, okay, 2 to 3, 2
Yeah.
to 5. I give you the minimum and you up to you. And then you will evaluate me, right? You will evaluate.
I'll die with you.
Okay. I'll give her 1 minute for that. 2 for me and 1 for her.
No worries.
Jeez. 20 seconds you have to evaluate me. Fellow Toastmasters and our honored guests, viewers at home, welcome back. I'll start with evaluating D.
he is a good responser in table topics speeches. But so he does not take the 30 seconds to think about the answer. He just starts immediately or his speech. And that includes he skipped greeting the audience. His answer was perfect, but not specific. So he gave all these. It looks like he's calling someone and bring 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe you need to focus on just one answer to have all these, because within these 10 suggestions or requests, you did not solve everything. So you only solved a couple of these problems, and you also did not summarize them in one request. But in general, you got the answer within just 2 seconds. He started answering. That's perfect. And then Elliot?
Yes.
Elliot. Yeah. I don't know if you were a table or a Toastmaster before?
Never.
Oh, that impressed me. Yeah, because first you was straightforward to the answer and with perfect introduction, just 2 statements, and then this is what I'm going to talk about these 2 years, and then you told us about 2 years of your experience. In these less than 2 minutes, you were able to tell us about your life, when you started working and when you left and how you changed your career, and also you were very enthusiastic when you talked with us. And finally, you wrapped up with one statement. That's what I want them to talk about, or that's the story from my life. So it's perfect. Yeah. The only comment for you is why you are not Toastmaster. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And finally, Carmen. Carmen started. She was in the right way when she started. She greeted, and then she waited 30 seconds to think about the answer, and then she started with the greeting, and then everything just destroyed after the question has been changed in the middle of the exam. Yeah. So I understand that point. So that's fine. She was distracted, and maybe me also. So I didn't know in the end she will accept that job or not, or just because she said in the beginning, yeah, that's fine because money is everything, and then she said, yeah, that's fine because money is nothing. So in the end, money is nothing or everything. So you will accept if it's with money, you will accept if it's without money. So you have to have something stable, to build on. And that's it for my evaluation. So Jean will evaluate me, and let's see. You have only 10 seconds to evaluate.
Quickly, Hudaifa's question was unlimited money for a day. He did well. He just basically flipped us, and he said, I don't need money to have what I want. So right away we're, woof, okay, where is this going? Gave good examples. He gave examples how no matter what you get, you always want more. And so that's an interesting theme. Also, he gave an example of where something very important money can't buy, such as health. And finally, talked about it's better to help others, actually. And so that's what he would do with his money. I wasn't quite sure what the conclusion was, but I think that's where it extrapolated out, was just best thing is to help other people fulfill their dreams. My suggestion, we always like to have a suggestion if you're evaluating, no matter how small it is. My suggestion was that Hudaifa gave an answer that was pretty general about money, just at all. I still would like to know what Hudaifa would do if he just went for it and he had all the money he could have in a 24-hour period. Because I think that was of interest to me. And if he doesn't want to use that money, please get a hold of me, because I would do really good stuff with that money. And money is not always evil, it's fun. Okay, so that would be that.
I'll add you to the list of the dreamer.
Yeah, you can, put me on the dreamer list, sure. All right, now let's go we really, clapping is an art, and we usually go through some exercises to help people who haven't been here before on how to clap. And you guys are doing quite well without any practice. There's energy, it's not, it's not lackadaisical and bored. It's good.
Scheduled 8:32 on the schedule.
Pardon?
You're at 8:32 on the schedule. Just
Okay.
read 8:32 and that's where we're at.
So your point is,
That Hudaifa was going to ask which evaluator is qualified, and then general evaluator comes up.
I'm gonna go ahead and do that, I guess, since I'm here. I know it's like a Jean's rules thing.
I'm just saying what's in
Yeah,
the
we're
schedule.
on track.
Yeah.
We're on track. Thank you, that's a good observation. Carmen, which of our evaluators, which of our table topics qualified tonight?
No.
We did this already?
Evaluator.
Sorry, evaluators. I know, I did this last week, I got all twisted up. Which of our evaluators, we had Hudaifa as an evaluator and we had Veda as an evaluator. Did our evaluators qualify?
Don't you count?
Only Veda qualified.
Only Veda qualified. You should have taken more time. Okay. You didn't count mine on top of his, did you?
No.
Okay. All right, good. All right. Well, then we know who our best evaluator is. Normally we would be voting on our best evaluator, but we have that now. All right, at this point I'm going to call up our general evaluator, Jean Craig.
Thank you, madam, whoever you were in that particular role. Fellow Toastmasters. At this point, we're going to get the reports from our role players. First, we're going to hear from our timer, Carmen Antacona. Please give us your report.
For table topics, D, 1 minute and 58 seconds. Hudaifa, 2 minutes and 13. Elian, 1 minute and 16. Me, 1 minute and 3. For the speech, I don't have 4 minutes and 45 seconds. For the evaluators, Veda, 3 minutes and 24. And Hudaifa, 3 minutes and 55 seconds. That's my report.
Now let's hear from Ron Kerr, counter.
Starting with Carmen, one an and 3 so's. Jean, 1 and 1 so. D, 2 uhs, 2 ums, and a you know. I'm really shining here right now. Dan, no, clear. Aaron, beautiful job, clear. Vade, got it, nailed it. Elliot, just 1 and 1 so. And these are sneaky, sometimes you just you know it, and you gotta listen for them. Just little sneaky habits we got. Hudaifa, I've got 2 buts. And Jyoti, clear. And that's my report.
Now we're going to hear from Dee, who's going to tell us who used the word of the day and what good language he may have heard during the talks.
Veda used.
Go ahead and stand.
Okay. Veda used the word of the day. And what was the second part?
Did you hear any language that caught your fancy?
There was other people who used the word of the day.
Yeah, Jean did, that's right. Other language, I wasn't paying attention to that.
Okay.
So
Well, there was.
I wasn't supposed to do that.
Frogzilla,
Godzilla, yeah, Run,
Even Frogzilla.
Frogzilla, yeah.
Jean, do you have a joke for us?
I do.
Come on down.
By the way, the theme of the meeting was reliable versus exciting. So I picked a joke that fit that theme, and it actually fits another very important theme, which you will understand as soon as I start talking. A frog walked into a bank to get a loan. He walked up to the teller and said, "Hey, I'd like to get a loan." The teller, a Ms. Patricia Wack, looked at the frog and thought he didn't look too reliable. So she said to the frog, "You know, we really are going to probably need to have some collateral from you. What do you have of value to secure this loan?" And the frog looked up and reluctantly he pulled out a little wood statue of a duck. And the teller looked at that and she said, "Let me take that and go back to my manager." So she went back to her manager and she says, "This is frog out there that wants to use this wood statue of a duck for collateral for a loan." And the manager says, she goes, "What is this? I don't even know what this is." He goes, "It's a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the frog a loan." Hey, a frog.
I see
The
what
theme of the night is frogs. Now it's my turn to evaluate the evaluators. First I'm going to speak about Veda, who evaluated Aaron. I was impressed by your evaluation, Veda. The best point from my point of view was that I thought you picked a very good angle for evaluating his talk. You didn't have a project, but you kept in mind what could he do to make his contest stronger. So that was very helpful, I think, for Aaron. I also liked your suggestions. I thought in particular the suggestion of starting out quieter so that he had some range was excellent. Just about the only thing I could point out that you could have done differently in your excellent evaluation is even more of what you did well already. I thought the strongest parts of your evaluation were giving examples. So when you told him to give a formal greeting at the beginning, you showed him how that would be. The more that you could have done that, the more value there could have been for him. But all in all, really an excellent evaluation. Then Hudaifa, who has ducked out because he couldn't stand to hear the terrible things I'm going to see about him. What I particularly liked about Hudaifa was his great enthusiasm. He's just shining like a light bulb up here, and he's really enjoying interacting with the people that he's giving feedback to. And he's very insightful about what he notes. I'll have to tell him this when I see him again. I thought the one suggestion that I would have for Hudaifa is to watch his angle of language, I guess you'd say, or his languaging. It would be better when giving feedback to say, I noticed that you did so-and-so, or I felt that you could have done this. He had the tendency to say, you did this, or you didn't do that. It doesn't come across as well for the recipient. And then finally, Jean, in her brief evaluation, proved that she's no callow Toastmaster. Even though that part of the meeting's already over. The suggestion or the feedback that I would give you about your evaluation is I felt you spent a little bit too long recapping
On content.
what happened.
Yep.
We had already heard it.
Yep.
But I thought it was an excellent suggestion to Till Hudaifa that he would, if he could zero in and focus on a particular question, that would be a stronger talk. So well done, everyone. And at this point, I'm going to bring back the Toastmaster, Jean, to lift the award.
Okay, thank you. So we have an award, 2 awards tonight, evaluator and table topics. Let's go ahead and do the evaluator first, and we know who this is going to be, but still, he deserves an applause. So there we go. That's it, pausing for the cameras. And then we have, oh, we're supposed to do a drum roll. I can't do a drum roll. That table topics is our man from Vegas, Elliot. Okay, so there you go. There you go. Smile. Great. So we'd like to welcome students. We've had some great MUM students in here in the past. We'd like to welcome you. I know the schedule is very tight. I've been a student at the university myself. It's hard to find time, but if you can get away on a Tuesday night, the mission of a Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills, which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth. And I think you've had a taste of that tonight. You're welcome to come back as a guest. You know the drill right now, how it works at the door. You're welcome to go to the international website. It's toastmasters.org. And
watch us on YouTube.
But go ahead and take a look at all of what's being offered in Toastmasters these days, and particularly there's a program, it's called Pathways, and it's just, it's really well done. You do an assessment of yourself ahead of time. It suggests learning tracks based on what your goals are and your interests are, and then you proceed through that, and you come and you have support from, such a heterogeneous group. We just all learn, and we just appreciate all the new things that we learn from people. So just feel free. Jane has you have my number too, don't you? Sometimes that's a good thing. You could let the students know, give them my cell phone. Because we're now in this locked building, it's a little harder to have people just drop in. But if you come when we're, before 7:45, we'll have someone there, and you can also text me, hey, I'm coming tonight, or bring in a friend, or whatever like that, and we'll go from there. And honestly, Kristen, I'm just going to say that really most people that join Toastmasters, are terrified. It's the worst fear ever, and that's one of the reasons I joined, the main reason, because I just felt like I cannot live my life like this. I feel like I have things to say, but this is ridiculous. And so it's like a workout. It does help you get through that, and then it starts to be really fun. And I'm sorry, but I think fun is, is a good thing to have in life.
I'm so sorry.
It's not all work, and it's fun. So I think if you happen to want to come over and take advantage of us and take a little detour from your studies, you will find that Toastmasters actually supports what you're doing in classes and how you're growing in general as a person. Let's see, where are we? We're moving along. I think I'd also like to welcome one of our long-term members back from Panama tonight, Art Atkinson. Let's just go ahead and give him a round of applause. Yes, Art has been sending us pictures from Panama. Art, are you planning to be coming again for?
Yes, I'll return to the club.
Okay, excellent. Really good. Glad to have you back. You're a snowbird, aren't you? You're coming back now that the weather is nice. No blame.
Not to be a snowbird. I want to come back when it's not snowing, but I'm just calculating.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any business that we need to do? I'm doing a speech next week. Peter's out of the country right now, but I'm doing a speech next week. Do we have any other speeches that we need to get to Peter? I know we got some icebreakers somewhere along in here that we need to get rolling on. So icebreakers too. Are you out of tax season yet?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yesterday was tax day.
Yeah. So we can get you working on that too. Art, are you ready do you want to join tonight? Rejoin?
I'm not prepared tonight.
Okay. Well, next time maybe. Is there anything else we need to tell these people about Toastmasters?
Might inquire what their experience of the meeting was.
We might. We could do that. So we'll have you actually, let's do that, okay? Because we go till 9. Let's go ahead and have you guys stand up and just give us a couple things that you liked about the meeting, or maybe surprised you about the meeting. Ben.
Well, I just really liked all of your speeches, and I liked how this whole thing is set up. I think personally this whole idea is a little too scary for me still, so I probably won't be joining, but I think you all did a great job.
I thought it was fun. I like how it's mutual, like everyone's being evaluated, even the evaluators. I like that there is some kind of level of like standard that you're going for, and you try to help each other by suggesting, and then also very supportive. So I enjoyed it. It was fun.
All right.
Thanks.
I also really enjoyed the meeting. I think I could probably use something like this. And I think it would probably be beneficial for me in the future, especially being on a board of an organization that I'm supposed to be speaking for. So I might come back.
Sometimes Toastmasters, people think Toastmasters is just about public speaking, or if you want to become a public speaker, and they say, no, I don't. But we always say that humans do things and accomplish things in groups, small, medium, and large. And we have groups all over. And we have civic organizations, we have corporations work, we have homeowners associations, we have churches, we have nonprofit things. We just have all kinds of groups that work, even families. So Toastmasters is about learning to be more effective in groups with people, unless you're working with dogs, and that's a whole different skill set, but with people. So yes, and actually the skills that you learn in Toastmasters are transferable. So I call it building the backbone. The confidence that you get from here, like you get up here, you sweat, you hear the ringing in your ears, you just go, I don't know, but then you make progress and you sit down, and I tell you the next things that you're going into for the rest of your week, you're just feeling like, wow, I am, it's hard to say, but you just have that rod up your backbone, and you're just standing more comfortable, and it just takes practice, and it just builds over time. Rudolph, Veda, didn't you say some positive things about Toastmasters, about that kind of, how grateful you've been? You were here at the very beginning of Toastmasters, here in Fairfield.
I guess people have seen me on Fairfield Public Access Television and have told me that I've improved, even in the year and a half that I've been back in Toastmasters. I've been in Toastmasters, first time was over 35 years ago, basically. 35 years ago, I joined Toastmasters in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And I kind of have some inborn talent for acting and things and kind of winging it. But there's things you always forget. Like even tonight, I'm thinking Dan is telling me I'm doing a great job, but I know I did not have good eye contact. Like, God, yeah, I'm like waiting for the hammer to come down from Dan, and he missed it. So luckily, maybe I'm hiding my mistakes better. But it's been a great joy, as they say, as the saying goes. And I do think it helps the confidence levels. Thank you, Jean.
Good, okay. Well, thank you, I just put you on the spot. That was like a table topics on the fly. Again, love to have you again. The meeting is done, and Aaron, we're still gonna see you one more time before you head off,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Yep,
next week.
yep, thank you for that. And with that, I am gonna point out, I'm just gonna point out one more thing for our visitors. You see all these ribbons here? This is tremendous. We're saying humbly speaking, because this club has just really performed over the 30 years that we've been here in Fairfield. Many, I won't go into this, we don't have time, but these are all statements of very high levels of achievement. Also having this lectern here is also high levels of achievement. You have to earn this to get this. And so if you decide you do want to join a Toastmasters club while you're here as students, this is a good club, to teach you. And with that, meeting is adjourned.